Today on the podcast, I am excited to welcome Nilima Wali, a dynamic professional with nearly 2 decades of corporate experience and a certified life coach passionate about career growth, self leadership, and women empowerment. She is the mind behind the powerful Thriving Aspire workshop series and an author of inspiring book Dear Dreams, which brings together real stories of hope and ambition. Through her workshop and coaching, Nilima is helping individuals turn clarity into action and dreams into reality. Please welcome Nilima Wali. Ma'am, you have compiled the book Dear Dreams. What does the title Dear Dreams signifies to you personally?
When I started with this project, Dear Dreams, it was kind of a dream for me. I had compiled a book before this, but I was not very fascinated by that book. But Dear Dreams was something I started with a dream. I wanted my dreams because we all have dreams. So I wanted my dreams to be in front of everyone. So that's how I came up with this idea that let me compile a book about dreams where we can talk about those dreams which we have seen for ourselves, for our dear ones. So that's where this idea of dreams came into picture. And when we compiled everything and we came up with this title of Dear Dreams for this book. There were many other titles related to dreams, but somehow this was something which was very catchy. It became a part of me that it's my dreams. These are dearest dreams for me. So that's how Dear Dreams came into picture.
So close to your heart.
Close to my heart.
Dear, right? What was your biggest learning while working on this project of writing this book?
Working on this book, I started I think almost in September or October with this book, and I wanted to compile this book in like 3 months of time. So I told all the co-authors that by December book will be done, and we will have this book published by January 1st of January. We will have this book, and you will all have this book. So that was I wanted to do this as a New Year gift to my own self. But then while I started working with co-authors, working on this book, working with the publisher and all, then I realized that there are many things which I am not aware of. That there are many, for example, one of the co-authors, she was so excited to be a part of this, but she lost someone in her family and she was not available for almost a month. Then things like this continue to happen, and sometimes co-author is not available, sometimes publisher is not available, sometimes even I am not available, because things do happen at my place as well. So the point is that life is very unpredictable. You plan the way you want to do it, but it is very unpredictable, and what happens towards the end you don't know. But whatever happens, the book is in your hands, it is published with such great stories. So I'll say whatever happens for the good, but it may not happen the way you have planned. At one point in time I was so frustrated that I wanted to give up, like leave it, I don't want to publish this book, why I am doing this. But then I kept on going, I kept on pushing myself. So I thought, no, this is something. And the cover page, I was so mesmerized by this cover page. I wanted it is the way I wanted it to be, it is designed the way I wanted it to be. So I think things do happen for a reason. So that was, though I always believed in this, but yes, this book actually proved that to me, that even if you have planned so many things will happen at its own pace. It will take time, but whatever happens for good. So that's here it is in your hands. The good thing is in your hands now.
Now I have an interesting question. How do you handle when people misunderstand you? You talk about gender or dreams.
So there are many people who will misunderstand you. So there are people who will say that this lady, she is every time she is ready to fight because of what we have done. As I said, feminism has got a negative connotation with it. Why? Because people think that anyone who is talking about feminism will come and have a fight with us just to prove her point. Though she is not wrong in her place, she is talking about the right thing, but the way she is talking about it is wrong. Because there is so much of anger built up in her which she has suppressed for so long. We have suppressed it for so long, and we just want to bring it out, and the way it comes out is wrong. The thing is not wrong, that word the female is talking is not wrong, but the way it is she's saying these things are wrong. Not everyone will understand you. So first of all, you have to understand that these are age old customs, stereotypes or superstitions which are there inbuilt. We have been brought up with these stereotypes. Even I believed in this thing when I was a child, because everyone talked about लड़का हुआ है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, ठीक है. So I also, because I was a child, okay, I also believed, okay, लड़का हुआ तो अच्छा है, लड़की हुई है तो ठीक है, there is nothing wrong with it, but लड़का हुआ तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. I also believed in this, but gradually I started understanding that these are the stereotypes, these are the things which are wrong with the society. So now when we switch gears, the one thing I have done is not to correct anyone. Even if I am correcting some, for example, if someone comes to me and says, "ये काम तो लड़कियों का है," so instead of fighting with that person, I just normally say that there is nothing like ladka and ladki. Anyone can do it, and just stop at that point. I am not there to change his thinking, because that is one of the most difficult job to do. If a person has come up with that thought process, it is there from the very childhood. I cannot fight it for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or maybe 2-3 minutes. No, I cannot fight it. Just leave it at there. Just leave your thought with that person. Don't fight with your thoughts. Don't fight to prove, but it's his choice to agree with it or not, or take it or not. Agree, I will surely say he agrees with that, but he'll not take it, because obviously there are many things, ego, the way they are brought up, they will not agree to me that the job can be done by anyone. But the thing is that you have to leave it there. You have to let them ponder onto that thought. You cannot just make them, nahi, you have said something which is wrong, you have to change your thought process now. You cannot do that. बचपन से वो लोग बड़े हुए हैं यही सुनते हुए. मैं जब इस सोच के साथ बड़ी हुई हूँ, तो मैं अपने आप को नहीं बदल सकती एकदम से. It has taken me years to change. So that is something that I always make sure, either accept that thought, the one thing that they have said, accept as in not that I agree with it, accept that they have a wrong thought process, try to change it by giving them a thought that you have, but let them ponder on it. I'm not going to fight for you to change, because you may not be the one who matter to me. Maybe I will fight with my husband if he says something wrong, but I may not fight with some third person. I may not fight with that person. So if the people misunderstand me, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that thought, that okay, it's your thought process. I totally agree with it. Go ahead, you misunderstand me, but this is something which I feel is right, and this is how it should be done. So that is how I deal with it, because people will misunderstand you. That is for sure.
Do you believe writing can heal personal wounds and change societal thinking?
Definitely. Writing can do a lot of things for you, because sometimes there are thoughts which are pondering into your head and you keep on thinking about them. You don't want to get them out of your mind. So if there is any personal wound, if you want to get it out of your head, just write it down. Even if you don't publish it, don't go and publish everything, but yes, these are the things which you can write out, and once you have written those, they are out of your mind. They have given you the space that you require. So writing can definitely heal you, and bringing in the societal changes. How are you ensuring that your thought process is reaching the next generation? How are you ensuring that if you think about something so strongly that it is reaching the people around you, so write about it. Maybe it's blogs, and with the society we are, with the times we are in, where everything is so available with this internet thing, write about it, write blogs, write on any social media platform. Don't indulge in, as I said, don't indulge into fighting, but bring your thoughts out, bring it out, write about it, talk about it, and you will see that these small things will bring in the changes that are required in the society. Whatever change you want to bring into the society, it's not that you are alone, it's just that you do not speak about it and no one dares to speak about it. You have to take that first step. Just speak about it, you will see that you will have the support. There will be people who will disagree, who will misunderstand, but let them be. You just do your job. Just talk about it, write about it, maybe in a book, form of a book, maybe in form of a blog, on social media, the post. Do it, and you will find that you will have many takers for your thoughts, and many people will come out to support you.
Now, a personal question. What is one small dream you fulfilled recently that made you feel deeply happy?
So when I talk about my dreams, many dreams I have, but recently I did a podcast where I spoke about women empowerment, and that was something I wanted to do. Though it may not be the perfect thing, the way I wanted it to happen, but yes, that was something very small dream of mine that I manifested maybe some time back, that I will appear on a podcast, I will go on the internet. But that was something I just recently did, and it's live. The podcast is live now, and the way I am doing one with you. But that was very much on just women empowerment. This is about my book. That was another theme. But definitely, there are many dreams that each one of us want to fulfill, and I will urge everyone to manifest those dreams, work towards those dreams. If you are not, you will have to fight back for achieving your dreams. Don't be afraid to fight back. Just keep on manifesting this, keep on working towards your dreams, and definitely you will be able to achieve it.
Thriving aspires. Such a powerful word. So, what inspired you to start this workshop? How you started it?
I started with my life coach. I did my life coaching certification last year. So when I did it, I just wanted to be some help to the society. I did that to change my thought process, as well as I wanted to give back to the society. It was not something I did for. I wanted to bring a lot of changes in the society. No, I wanted to do it for myself. I wanted to understand what it is all about. So I did it, and when I completed my certification, I was thinking about what should I be doing next. If I have to do something in that area, what next? So there different things came into picture. I did some pro bono workshops as well as corporates where I spoke to freshers. Different things I did, but then I came up with this idea: why not bringing that leadership skills to people? The online is the medium right now, so why not through online medium bring in those leadership skills to the people? So I started with these workshop series where we are working on those small things which we just literally don't care about: time management, goal setting, thriving. Where this thriving aspirers came into picture, I wanted to work with women folk. I wanted to work with freshers, because those are the people who suffer a lot because of the leadership qualities. What leadership means is, it means that leading your own self leadership, leading yourself, not the world around you. So that's where the leadership skills came into picture. So I thought, why not start with these workshops for freshers, for women, for professionals, basically anyone who can benefit from these workshops. So that's how this workshop series came into picture. And when we were deciding on a name, that what should be the name, then this thought that these are the people who want to thrive in their career, who want to thrive in their life, not just career, personal and professional life. So why not just give them a way to thrive. So these are aspiring thrivers who will, maybe one day they will be like be on the sky, they will fly high. So that's how the name Thriving Aspirers came into picture. So that's how we started with these workshops.
Among career growth, empowerment, and self leadership, which pillar do you think people struggle the most and why?
When I started deciding on my niche, I wanted to do something which is helpful for the society. So career growth is something which obviously we are not struggling with it, but it is a requirement of the time. But how can we bring in that career growth is by empowering people. And how do we empower them? By providing them the constructs of self-leadership. Self-leadership is something that I want to work on, I want to focus on, because what we normally focus on our regular basis is that we want to lead others. We want to become a leader for others. But what about our own self? We don't want to work on our own self. We do not work on learning. We don't want to improve our own self. So that is something that I want to bring to the people, that there is a lot of things that you can work on yourself. There are the notions you have grown up with is not something which cannot change. You can change yourself. You can become a better person. You have the confidence to face the world. So that is what is closer to me, self-leadership, the construct of self-leadership, and that's what I want to work on as well with this younger generation, especially with this social media all coming into picture. Everyone is so indulged into it, even the generation before us, our generation, and generation after us. Everyone is so much into social media. They think that success is just a piece of cake. You just put in one video on internet and you are successful, but that's not the case. So then that is where self-leadership come into picture, that these are the things that you have to work in and day out to become that successful person, to bring in that career growth, to empower yourself. So that's what I want to work on with people as well.
So, ma'am, you work in dynamic mix of inner and outer development. How do you personally define the self leadership?
About self-leadership, there are certain constructs that come into picture. First is being self-aware, that what are your own weaknesses and your own strengths. We always work towards improving our weaknesses, but I believe that we should be focusing on strengths as well. What world has taught us is something that's not good, you should work on that. But no one tells us that work on the good as well. Make it better, make it best. So that's where self-leadership come into picture, that you have to work on your self-awareness, that you should be aware of where you are operating from, your strengths or your weaknesses. Second is the awareness that you have brings in the confidence you need to survive in this world. So that helps you develop the self-confidence, not the confidence that I am better than everyone else. No, the self-confidence is I am not better than anyone else. I am good where I am right now. I can be better moving forward. I can learn from you. I can learn from anyone whom I meet. Maybe I am also teaching them something. Maybe not, but I am learning. I don't have to compare. I don't need to compare myself to anyone else. So that kind of confidence is actually self-leadership. Then self-efficacy. We talk about self-esteem. Self-esteem is having that respect for your own self. But we never talk about self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is basically having that thought that I have an ability to do something, and I have trust on that ability. It's not just respecting your own abilities, it's also trusting them that I can do it, and I have trust in my abilities, that I have everything that is required, that I require to get something done. So those are the things that we need when we talk about self-awareness, self-leadership actually. So these are the things that we want to work on. We do not want to work on that how to lead someone else. No, lead yourself first. If you are leading yourself in the right way, then you will be able to lead anyone else in the world. But first of all, you have to conquer yourself to go out in the world. So that's how it is. How self-leadership is defined.
What would you say to the person who is stuck in their career or feeling low confidence? Where should they start?
Feeling stuck, if you're feeling low in confidence, start from where you are. You cannot just say that, oh, I'm stuck now, what should I be doing? I can just go out, leave this job, take up another job. No, start from where you are. If you're feeling stuck in your job, keep working on that job. Don't say that maybe it's a boring kind of a job. Keep doing your good work. Don't say that काम ही नहीं करना मुझे तो. Don't do that, because at least it's bringing you money, it's bringing you something, and that money is also important. At the end of the day, it's bringing food on the table. So don't just leave it and go out into the world that, oh, I was stuck, so that's why I left it. Don't do that. If you're feeling low on confidence, start with small steps. Start with making your own bed in the morning, getting up out of the bed and making your own bed. Start with those small things. When you start small, don't be like, okay, I have done that, what next? Just celebrate. Actually, I have got out of the bed, went to my office. Even going to your office is should be a kind of celebration. Now then comes the second step, where you have to get out of it. Now, where you are, just be actually acknowledging where you are. Now, once you have acknowledged, you will find ways to get out of it. So now find the ways to get out of it. You can apply for other jobs. Without leaving this one, you can apply for other jobs. You can think about other career choices. You can think about taking a course. You can think about doing any certifications. So all these things will come when you are acknowledging that you are stuck. When you are saying that you are feeling low on confidence. It's not that you are saying that I'll leave everything and just jump on doing something else. Don't do that. Just acknowledge, start from where you are, acknowledge that, and then define the next steps going forward. And everyone will have their own steps. Everyone will have their own choices. Career may be different, will be different. Don't go for any random suggestions. There will be so many suggestions that you will receive. ये कर लो, वो कर लो. Every uncle will tell you, बेटा ये कर लेना चाहिए था. शर्मा जी का बेटा तो ये कर रहा है. Don't go do it like शर्मा जी का बेटा. Do it the way you want to do it. But first of all, acknowledge that you are stuck. You want to move on, and start from where you are, not from where you want to be. Start from where you are. Take the first step there only, and then move towards set that goal, set that path, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to take that first step. So that's something I want to tell the people, because what people do is, if they're feeling stuck, they just are like, okay, छोड़ दो सब, छोड़ छाड़ के निकल जाओ यहाँ से. Don't do that. Quitting is not the solution. Sticking to it and making it work, or just getting out of it with another thing in place or another plan in place, is the best way to do it. Finding solutions.
So now for our listeners who want to aspire for more but held back by doubts, where should they start? What action they should take first?
Doubt has killed more dreams than any other fear, because we always doubt that क्या होगा आगे, क्या होगा पता नहीं आगे क्या होगा, what if. And when we are on the deathbed, when these what ifs are our biggest regrets, I'll say. So you have to start doubtful. You have to start doubtful, because that's the way you have to start. You have to fear it. If it's not fearful, then maybe you are not doing the challenging thing. Then you have to stay stuck. Right. So if you are aspiring for it, if you want to achieve it, there is a very nice book by Randy Fosh. She's one of my favorite books. It's called The Last Lecture, where he's talking actually about his dreams from his deathbed. He has written this book while he was surviving cancer. He died at very young age, and it is his last book, The Last Lecture. And he says in that book, if there are roadblocks in the way of your dreams, in way of achieving your dreams, those roadblocks are there because the universe is testing you whether you are actually aspiring for that dream or not. If you are actually aspiring for that dream, you will find a way out of that roadblock. If you are not aspiring, you are not actually aspiring for that dream, you will say that, oh, I hit by a roadblock, that's my excuse, leave it. But if you're actually aspiring for that dream, you will find a way out of it. You will do it doubtfully, you will do it fearful. So do it fearfully, do it doubtfully. If you are not doing it, then it was not actually your dream. It was just a random thought that came into your mind and you were like, okay, let me try it out. हो गया ठीक है, नहीं हुआ चलता है. But go for it, whatever it is, go for it. Try it out. You will be hit by roadblocks. You will have to fight it out. Just fight it out. Do it fearful, but do it.
So again, for a listener, where can our listener can connect with you, your book, your workshop?
Yes, you can always connect with me through my book. My email address is on the book, and you can connect on that. You can write to me on that email address. Go through my book and give your feedback on the book. Apart from that, we are doing our regular workshops, Thriving Aspirers. Look for Thriving Aspirers on LinkedIn. You will find it, and you can always connect with us. Join our workshops, and maybe you will learn something, and we will learn something from you as well.
Now, one last question. What is your current dream and how are you nurturing it today?
I have Thriving Aspirers, which I am working on. The workshops that I'm working on, though they are pro bono right now, but yes, this is something I dream of, to help people, to bring the coaching, the workshops that we are doing, the thought process I have, to bring it to the people. And these podcasts, these are a way, or these books are a way to bring my thought process to the people. That's why I'm doing these podcasts, doing these writing on social media so much, to bring in that dream to the people. When you are bringing it out it's said that when you bring your dreams, you speak about your dreams, everyone knows about it and universe hears it. So, and the universe makes sure that you are able to achieve that dream. So that's how I am trying to do it. I am bringing it out into the public. I am talking about it, I'm speaking about it, I'm writing about it, and maybe I'll be able to achieve it.
Thank you so much, man, for coming on our podcast. We are really inspired by your thoughts. It will definitely encourage many people to take the first step. So guys, if you also want to inspire, read her books and follow her for the workshop. You can definitely get something from there.
Thanks a lot, Meenal, for having me here, and maybe I am able to inspire some of the listeners. Thank you.